page 213, for our story called The New Friend. Come to a party. Read the invitation. Come to a birthday party. If you're invited to a birthday party, the invitation needs to have a couple of key details to help you so that you can attend. First of all, you need to know its place, where it's going to happen. And here it says 7th City Soccer Club. And then it needs to tell you when it is so people know when to arrive and what day it is. So here it says May 7th, 2002. But they didn't list a time. Usually it's pretty helpful to include a time for your birthday party so people know, oh, okay, maybe it's a lunchtime, so they're going to have a meal. Maybe it's in the middle of the afternoon, so we are only going to get some sweet treats. So think about that maybe if you actually are putting together your own invitation. But here's what they say for this party. We'll have lots of cookies and cake to fill your empty tummy. This will be the best party in years. Draw what you would bring to this party. Now think about what you know about birthday parties. What kind of things do the people who attend the birthday party usually bring? There are a few ideas, maybe. Maybe you're going to bring right here like one of these gifts or a present. Maybe you're going to bring a bundle of balloons and a card. One thing I would think to keep in mind is that this is going to take place at a soccer club. So maybe your gift might be a soccer-themed gift. Go ahead and draw what you think is an appropriate illustration of what to bring to that party. I used my imagination and thought, well, maybe they would have a special gift collecting area where they'd actually even set up like a little soccer net and all the people could bring their presents there. And then maybe on the table they might have a banner that says happy birthday and some balloons. And maybe instead of a cake, they just have all these cookies that are placed on a little, maybe like a green tray. And it looks like soccer decorated cookies with all the soccer designs on the frosting. Now, that's just my interpretation, but of course you can feel free to make your illustration look however you would like for that soccer birthday party. When you're ready, let's go ahead and read from our textbook. This is textbook page 50 and 51. This is Get Set to Read our next story, The New Friend. A new family. In the next story, you'll read about a new friend who moves to the neighborhood. Here are our words to know. Go ahead and repeat. After, before, school, pretty, done, by, off, wash, brushes, wishes, boxes, families, unloaded, unpack, repaid. Let's look at our practice sentences. 1. A new family came to buy the house next to our school. 2. They started to wash inside the house with brushes and mops. 3. They unloaded boxes off a truck and started to unpack. 4. They were done in no time. 5. After lunch, I took over a cake. 6. I gave them my best wishes. 7. Before long, the new family repaid us with some pretty flowers. 8. I hope our families will be friends. Here you can see her cake says the word welcome. Welcome. Maybe you've had to move before and you know it's a very difficult task. This process of moving into a new place to live takes a lot of work. You need to pack up all of the boxes from where you are living, then make sure the house or the apartment or whatever place you're moving into is cleaned and ready for you. When you get there, then you have to unload boxes and set everything up in your new home. All of that takes a lot of work and it usually makes people pretty tired. It's difficult. So if you've had to do that before, you know it's a pretty difficult thing. Plus then for the family that just moved into a new home, They need to learn all about their new community and start to make some new friends. Maybe you've had to do that before. You know, it's pretty difficult. It's kind of hard, and you might be a little bit sad because of the family or the friends that you remember from where you used to live. Let's remember all of that as we start our new story and turning the page. Meet the author and illustrator, Maria Puncel. Maria Puncel wrote this story in Spanish. So it's actually called El Amigo Nuevo, which means the new friend. She lives in Spain. She first told stories to her 6 younger brothers and sisters. Now she writes books and TV shows. Ed Martinez thinks it's exciting to paint outdoors. He lives in the country in a house that's 300 years old. The New Friend by Maria Puncel. Illustrations by Ed Martinez. Let's go ahead and read. Martin, Louis, and I lived in the city. Next door was an old house. No one had lived there for a long time. One day a work crew came with pails and brushes. They started to wash and paint the empty house. Turn. After they were done and the paint had dried, the house looked pretty and new. The next day, a big truck pulled up. It was full of crates and boxes. A crew unloaded the boxes off the truck. A new family would soon live there. Right, and look at this group of friends. They're all imagining who might be their new neighbor. When you're ready, turn. Today, Louis went over to the house next door. He met a boy called Mikoto. Then we all met Mikoto. Mikoto was 7 years old, just like us. Before long, we found out that Mikoto played soccer. He could keep running and running. He was good at learning things too. He learned all of our names by the end of the game. Right? If you've ever had to move somewhere or maybe go to a new school or just a new place, you know that you need to try and start making some new friends. And really the most basic thing that you do is learn somebody's name. When you're ready, let's turn to page 60. Soon Mikoto's family was all moved in. We met his mother and father. They were glad that Mikoto had made some new friends. While Mikoto's mother and father went to buy food, Mikoto stayed and played with us. Turn. When Mikoto's mother and father rejoined us, Martin, Mikoto, and I helped them carry the bags into the house. Mikoto said he would show us around his house. Then we went up to look at Mikoto's room. Okay, take a moment, look at this painting here, this illustration of what his room looks like. What do you see that is decorating his room? You'll notice, I think this is probably a kite. It looks like some books, a picture frame. Maybe he has a clock or a radio of some kind. This looks like a fire engine, a sailboat. You'll see this fish hanging here, an airplane, some other toys perhaps. It looks like maybe a tractor, soccer ball. Maybe this is a tennis racket. But it looks like he's still got a collection of boxes. And if you've moved, you know it does take a while to be completely unpacked. When you're ready, let's turn. Mikoto still had a lot of boxes to unpack. He had some nice toys and kites. He said that on the next windy day, we could bring his kites outside and fly them. He said I could fly a kite by myself. Then we went outside to look at Makoto's pictures from Japan. He had them in a green book. First grade, why do you think it mentioned that he has pictures from Japan? What is that a clue to let you know where he might be from? Let's see if you're right about that. Let's turn. Ready? Begin. On the first page, we saw Makoto's old house in Japan. On the next page, we saw Makoto's family in Japan. The last page had pictures of Makoto's friends. They showed Makoto's 7th birthday party. Mikoto said he wishes we could meet his old friends. And that's something that's pretty common too. When you move to a new place, you can be excited about the new people that you'll meet and the new friends that you'll make. But it's also possible that you will miss the people that you used to know where you lived before. And so it's okay to have a couple of mixed emotions, to feel both happy and sad at the same time. Go ahead and turn the page. At the end of the day, Makoto's mother and father repaid us for helping with cookies. Right? They helped to unpack some bags and things like that. So sometimes when you get paid for something, you don't always get paid with money. Sometimes here, as we're talking about in social studies, these boys did a service. They helped others and they were paid for it, not with money, but with cookies. We said please and thank you and ate up. Makoto's father said he had a new job in the city. Mikoto would be going to our school. We were all glad about that. Turn. We said goodbye to Mikoto and his mother and father. Then we went home to our families. We were glad to have a new friend next door. Let's go ahead and answer one question here. Number 4, what would you do to make a new neighbor feel welcome? Imagine there is a new neighbor in your street or on your block or in your apartment building. Can you think of something you could do to make them feel welcome? Maybe it's just a sign or a card, or just waving hello and introducing yourself when you see them. Let's go ahead and turn another page. And you'll look here, there are some poems. It says, I'll walk halfway to your house if you walk halfway to mine. We'll decide about the other half when we come to the halfway line. And there's another one here. It's called Hope. Sometimes when I'm lonely, don't know why, keep thinking I won't be lonely by and by. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our Language Arts Packet, page 214. Page 214 has questions about the story we just read called The New Friend. This page is called What Happened? Answer the questions to tell what happened in the story. 1. Who moved into the empty house? Let's write that down. I wrote my answer as a complete sentence. Mikoto and his mother and father moved in. Notice I put a capital for Mikoto, that's his name, so any special name needs a capital. And I also put a period as my punctuation mark at the end. Okay, number 2. Where was Mikoto from? Do you remember the country that they told us he was from? Because it's a special place, we need to write it with a capital. Mikoto is from Japan. 3. What did all the boys like to do? Think back to the story, or you can open up your textbook and look through some pages. Can you find an activity that all the boys like to do? I'll list one of them right here on the page. I'm going to write mine as a complete sentence. All the boys like to, and then I'll fill in that blank. I chose to write, all the boys like to play soccer. And I put a capital at the beginning of my sentence and a period as my punctuation mark at the end. If you chose a different activity, that's fine too. 4. What made the boys glad? This happens at the end of the story. The boys learn something that makes all of them glad. Do you remember what that is? I'm going to write the sentence, the boys are glad, and then fill in that blank. There are 2 options, but I chose to write, the boys are glad they will go to the same school. That's one option, but another option on the very last page, it also says that the boys are glad that they have a new friend next door. So you can choose between those 2 options to write on your page.